Right, our presentation is quite, follows up from Jawad's really well, and artists as well, because it does include how we use words in different areas that we can use our vocab skills, as well as play, hobbies relating to hobbies. One of the things that twins do really well is they get into these roles and they kind of embrace that role themselves. They become one. So when they're speaking, the words that they use, they'll have their soft toys and they'll start speaking as a soft toys. And how they're behaving with each other through the soft toys is exactly the same as a father would do to their child. And then following on from that is the hobby aspect of it, where they do lots and lots of different activities, lots of different plays, which becomes part of their hobby, which we're going to start talking about. No, it's not here. We just go next year.
Yeah. So the
next one. Huh? This is on the screen. This is the next one. Okay. Yeah, just let you know about what's going on.
Yeah, so something which I really wanted to emphasize on is like the amount of time they spend on not studying, because studying part, I know alhamdulillah they're in good hands. They do all sorts of things at the Grovery, and then they do their maths and their science and all that. But on the other side of them growing up to be emotionally intelligent, spiritually intelligent, and being able and mentally intelligent is about them going into like imaginative play, which helps them, which we can have an idea of what's going on in their minds, of how they perceive things and how they do stuff. So this is an example of like, it shows like how they express their thoughts and feelings. So this is an example of how they had like a teddy bear tea party, and then like the arrangement, they kept both the teddies on the chairs, kept all their things on, and just like, keeping everything neat and tidy, and just making sure that there's food, there's water, spoons, and everything that just things which helps them plan out how to host and how to treat other people. And in the next one, like you can see, like, where they just get dressed up and then they just do all sorts of different roles, which helps them in solving problems, and then they understand their own emotions as well, and then like how to tackle each other, on like how to speak to each other, and it also shows like how it helps them grow in their creativity, empathy, and how to talk with others.
They get this from me, by the way. They see me fixing everything.
That's from their maternal granddad. So it's from a young age. Like, it's not really, but I don't think they really have seen. They've gone to my dad's place of work, and they've seen like the what do you call it, the forklifts and things like that. And then like from a young age, they just turn their bikes upside down and try fixing and just try to do things. But it's not really they're doing it, but it's just like them being engaged in and just observing what's going on around them.
What does their grandfather do?
He's a mechanic as well.
Yeah.
So from my side, I don't do any of this work. If anything goes wrong, Jawad, can you help me? Ale, can you help me? That's the best that I do. But they do pick up from what's around them a lot as well. And they see like from their grandfather's side, where he's a lot more hands-on. I just about change a light bulb. So I know that I'm not going to give him this, right? I'm like you, Asfar, so don't be laughing at me.
Because I think that's one of the things that I think we picked up as well from different families. Like from in our family, like us girls, we just, if you want a clock fixed up on the wall, that's what I did for our home as well. Like the frames, the clocks, and the shelves, those things, we just do it because we've seen like Dada do it, and how he measured. Like, it's not like he went to school or went to certain places to study it. It was just out of practice and things that has been carrying on for years, subhanAllah. And it's just us, and it's not like he called us to do it as well. I think we're just observing him, helping him, giving him a hot drink after work and things like that. So those kind of things, I think it really plays a big role in how we engage our children in involving them in doing activities. It's not like we have to tell them to do it. It's just oh, come on, let's do this together, that kind of thing. So that's something that I've always wanted to do, because from my husband's family, it's just the mom and dad does everything, and the children, they don't know what's happening at home. So that's something which I really wanted to change in how we bring up our kids, because I want them to know, not really overwhelm them, but know that parents go through certain things, like, or show them, like, even moms, we feel hungry and tired as well. It's just like, so that they engage in more. So this is one of the examples that I really wanted to, which I'm really happy and proud of. Allah Barik. May Allah bless Omar. Like, this is why when I came home from work and I was like, I'm tired, I'm like, can you make me a cup of tea, please? And that was absolutely sweet of him to go through every little step that he did, that he took. He not only just made me a cup of tea, the way he presented it was just super sweet. Allah Barik, may Allah bless him. So he made sure that he placed a cup of tea in a saucer, and he kept some extra sugar. He brought the whole canister, put a spoon in as well. And then he's like, and he knows that I relax with my, like, my phone is, I don't know if the phone's here, but he kept a book open because he wanted to keep it open, so I don't even have to turn the page. He kept the Hoover on the side to make sure it's open, so I don't even have to do that work. May Allah bless him. And then he wanted to make sure that I have some, because I won't have to have snacks with my tea, and I like savory and not sweet, so he made sure there were some savory snacks. And he fluffed the cushions as well, because I keep emphasizing on that, because I don't like things that just kept there. So he fluffed the cushions, made sure, like, and he kept some his favorite softies for me, because those are two of his favorite. That's Mr. Tigery and that's Mr. Kiki Bear. Kept them as well, and he closed the curtains. I know it's not very neat, but he closed the curtains so that it'll be nice and cozy, and made sure that the lights are turned on as well, and dimmed the lights, because I like it when the lights are dim. So those are things that, subhanAllah, may Allah bless them, they notice, like, because it's done like continuously, and because I think probably because we just present it like that.
And also the play that they learn, this is like when they're like 3 years old.
Yeah,
them doing it with their soft toys,
pictures,
which translate into actually doing the work now for real as they're getting older, when they're 6 now.
Yeah, and this is like some of the things, because to be honest, I'm not very hands-on with the educational side, like in terms of like the growth education, because I tend to get really angry very quickly and lose my patience in terms of writing and stuff. So he takes care of all of those stuff, alhamdulillah. And I know they are in good hands. So I tend to be pretend playing with them, having tea parties, and having afternoon teas with them. So these are some of the things which we do. And then for them to, like, pour the tea, like mixing sugar, etc., which they enjoy doing. And some in the very beginning, like when they were 2-3 years old, they did spill, and if not, they put loads of sugar.
That's why I can see their hands full of milk.
Yeah. So, and another thing which I from home, which I like, we always keep these lovely cups and saucers for when guests come. So I really want to change that in my family. So I use the nice cups and saucers and stuff for us to play, for us to have, because how often do guests come? When they're just kept in the cupboard high up there, which we don't access. But I want to use that. There's something that's just a personal thing that I want to use it for my family, and just do those instead of just keeping them stored in the cupboard before just when some random auntie or uncle comes. So these are things.
So the importance of the becoming independent themselves,
Yeah.
the earlier play where they did it with just the soft toys, now as they're growing up, as we mentioned earlier, they're becoming more independent, setting everything up, like having a glass in between, because we went to like a afternoon tea where they saw this staggered kind of setup. So they want to do the same at home now. So they're trying new things at home, and they do everything, all the setting up, the cloth underneath, like a tablecloth.
That was the blanket, yeah.
Blanket, they just put a blanket underneath. They want to make everything look nice. So that play becomes part of their lives, and how they kind of carry out actions in the actual world now, rather than just the play world.
Yeah, and also another thing is, like, for them to carry on without parental guidance. Like the previous picture, he asked me to go stay in the room and like change and come back, and he just done it all by himself. So that's, I think, another thing of like us letting them do it without the fear of like, oh, don't do this, oh, don't do that, oh, be careful. Like, so then we tend to like, try to be extra like overprotective, or try to micromanage things. So in just letting them do it, like, just gently guiding them from the beginning, and then they start doing it on their own, and okay, they will be fine with it. Like us, I think for us as parents, I think we need to develop that as well, so that we can just let them be and then do on their own without having to like go behind them trying to do, because then they'll, I don't know.
Their self-confidence gets impacted as well, because they all know, oh, dad or mom's going to come and help out with this anyway. I just call them and they get things done. What Jawad was mentioning earlier about having those next steps of, oh, I've got a problem, I need to go figure this out myself. Let me watch a YouTube video and figure it out. That's the steps of like them being independent, and there's a word I'm looking for which I can't. that initiative, taking that initiative to actually do the work that they need to do.
Yeah, so this is also another thing, like
It's
from
the same thing.
yeah, then they start like doing for themselves, and then and then they start doing things by themselves, like picking their own clothes, helping family and friends, and managing simple tasks. So these are some old pictures that I just tried. So like simple things, they just start doing it, and then they proceed to like doing bigger things like cutting chicken, for example, which masha they can and they do. Like, and then they just like not forcing them to do it, just like oh, who wants to do it, and then or like and then rewarding them, like okay, who would comes first will get whatever, like something very small, something very simple, and then they just they end up doing it by themselves, alhamdulillah. And yeah, that's I think.
And it's Auntie Asia's recipe.
Oh yeah, and that's also another one of involving family.
I don't know what happened here.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think this also probably another video.
And
as well.
Abu Bakr's original margarita pizza. Italian flag and ta-da!
Yeah,
I don't know why it's not playing.
yeah.
Oh, it's not coming on my side as well.
Chicken chills and it's Auntie Asia's recipe.
I don't know why it's not playing up. Okay.
Is it an extended screen?
Let's do it in one.
No, I'm just trying to play it just here, and it's not playing here as well.
Do you have it stored?
And
Alright,
Abu Bakr's original margarita pizza.
Yeah.
So that one was, yeah,
Yeah, this is just
you can
like
see it like this.
yeah.
So what they did was we went to a place to get some margarita pizza, like Italian style one, and what they did was they designed their own logo. Pizzeria.
Yeah.
So that's their own logo for the margarita pizza, as you can see. It's the wrong way.
But it's just about, and also like involving in the previous one, like the churros and stuff, like it's involving other family members, because I don't have the, what's the word, the privilege of having my family here, because in my husband's family it's all boys, but then they don't have that much of an interaction as the aunts do with the kids, I think. So the churros recipe was something what my sister taught them, and then they remember it, and then I think it's just like having those close family members who tell them stuff, and mainly doing things out of love, like because they want to do it with the person whom they love, and then they carry it on.
Chicken chills and
Yeah, it's just not working. So this is like the imagination, and like to how to foster the imagination and the independence is like us helping them, like giving them the input, and then also giving them the time and space to do it. Like make sure, like because when I get the time to like bake with them and stuff, I just make sure that there's like lots of space for them to like. So even if they have a spill, it's not going to like go all over, and like and guiding them gently, involving them more often. Like most of the time when I do want to make something, I just like involve them rather than like instead of keeping them like. So when I'm in a rush, of course, I tell them like do your own thing, and then they try to do it quickly. Because it does take longer time, to be honest. It takes longer, and then they just gradually these things build up, and then like now that they're older, they come themselves and like, oh, mommy, can I do it, please? And then I give them, okay, you crack the eggs, you mash the bananas. So just giving them two different tasks, and then they just end up doing it, alhamdulillah.
One last thing that I would say, one of the main things that this builds is they need to see the world as a lot more diverse than they usually have experience of having. Just linking this to academic learning as well. For example, if they need to improve their English, one of the main things is like creative writing. That's one of the main tests that they do in GCSE. It's like half of the paper. What you find is lots of the kids, they don't have enough experiences to actually think imaginatively to write a story. Writing a story with similes or metaphors, that's the easy part to teach. But to actually think of a interesting story for them to write, they need to have that within themselves. J.K. Rowling's actual writing with that literary quality is not that high level. But what she did really well was, she was in Edinburgh, she was seeing Edinburgh all around her, and then created this magical world. And that's what made it so popular. Where we kind of box them in like, no, to improve your writing is you sit in front of a desk and you write better. And that's not actually how you improve your writing. You improve your writing by going out to the world, observing it, and all the writers that we know of, whether it be Dickens, whether it be Jane Austen, or whether it be Rowling, they all had inspirations, what they saw around them. If they don't see the world, they're not going to improve. It's the same with science. Why are we picking out a activity sheet, labeling trees, versus going out into the field and actually looking at trees, touching the trees, smelling the trees. You'll notice with your kids as well, when they go out, they're just smelling and touching everything, right? So history, again, the same thing applies. You just reading it versus reenacting. They watched Bilal radiallahu anh, story. And what they did was, they
Yeah, that was absolutely
they
sweet.
put one of them down, put a like a big cushion on top, and it's like worship the idol or something. Worship my idol, worship my idol. And others like, no, I will never worship the idols or something
Yeah,
like this.
they're
They were
acting
doing.
it out. Yeah,
They
we
just
don't have
they
the
see it,
video.
they act it out. Then that's ingrained in their minds forever now,
Mm.
because not just they didn't passively just take in the information. Now they're actually doing it. When you do it, you remember it a lot more as well. So play becomes a vital part. We keep on emphasizing quite a bit in the Glory as well. Play becomes a vital part of not just play, but your academic learning as well. If you want to do history, let them act it out. They'll remember history a lot more than them sitting down and reading a book for hours on end. Obviously, you should read the books as well, just to let you know. Further reading some books relating to play, which we will obviously send out as well.
Zoom in on that, or can you
Uh,
Yeah, read them.
We will post it in the group anyway. I think one thing's not mentioned here is called Anxious Generation, which I'll put it up as well, which is really, really good book to have. I don't think I have it here. Yeah. Questions, thoughts before we finish up?
I was going to ask a question about the dynamics of having twins. Now, the reason why I asked that is because the rare moments that I get when Abdullah and Muhammad are like kind of independently playing well to the point that I don't have to say, stop doing this, stop doing that. Muhammad's not saying, Abdullah, don't do that kind of thing. I say rare, there's quite a few moments, but in my mind they get underpowered by all the negative moments. Do you find that there's a lot more teamwork because they're twins?
Could be. They do have their fights. Happens all the time as well. But they do play. For us is they play a lot more together than they do fighting.
Interesting.
So yeah,
If
for
they're
us
fighting,
we
they
don't
fight
really
together.
know. Yeah, even they're fighting together. It's like fine, you fight and fight it out.
Fight and sort it out, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that could be something that plays in our favor because they're twins. They do these things together, and it's a lot easier for us to deal with than having kids of different ages.
Are you
So
sure that Muhammad and Abdullah don't play nicely together as much
No,
as
they
you're
do.
imagining?
They do, but it's just...
They should have beef, you know. They should be having beef with each other. Should be
They
dating.
should do, but...
Yeah. Have the tears, but have the cuddles as well.
Yeah. I just think when there's a difference in age, you'll get moments where they'll play together, but you'll also get moments where they both know there's an age difference and they stop.
yeah,
But they
I-
do play, it's fantastic. Like when they're out on their bikes, that kind of stuff, or when they're building a den, that kind of stuff, it's nice. But then all it takes is one of them to get out of bed wrong side and the barge is the other one. And he's but he did that. It's like, oh my God.
No, it happens with the boys as well, to be honest. I mean, like, sometimes, like, that's like, it's like in terms of cooking and stuff, like, one will have more interest than the other. Then I pick on the one which does not have the interest and try to bring him into the thing. And so I'm like, okay, you have to do it because I want both of you to become good husbands when you grow up, kind of thing in my head. So, like, helping out in, like, chores and stuff. So I want both of them, So one does lack out, try to, like, get out of, like, saying, like, okay, no, I don't want to do it, or choose something else. Then I just give them two options. Okay, either you tidy up the beds or you come help mommy in the kitchen. Which one do you want? So then they both, like, they have to do. So then both of them are like, so it's like giving them the choices, but we are kind of choosing what we want them to do. So because for me, I think mainly I just don't want them to, because in studies part, because I know, alhamdulillah, they are in good hands. So I'm not really, I don't go behind their maths and English and whatever they're doing at the Glory. I don't have the patience. It's just a personal thing that I don't have the patience to tell them, sit down with them, and because they tend to play around when they do that. So these kind of stuff I tend to focus more on, for them to be not just know all the academics, but then to be any other parts like the adhkar and the chores and things like that, because I just want them to know them from a young age, so then they grow. It just becomes a habit. So when they wake up, to just do these kind of things. So I think it'll take, of course, years for them to just do it on their own, but it's just a constant reminders and then doing it with them. Because another thing which I didn't want from personal thing is they're just being told what to do, And then it just like, and then you're just doing it for the sake of just pleasing mom or dad, but I want them to do it out of love, and then just make it a thing as well. And also like the independence part, just try, like if they keep coming and asking like, okay, mommy, can you help me with this or do with this? And I'm like, okay, you figure it out, sort it out by yourself. If you can't, I'm always there for you. I'm just here. So try 3 before me kind of thing. So just you try 3 different options. If you can't do it and if you're really struggling, then I'll help you out instead of me just going and doing it for them. So.
Yeah, but one thing to cover within what you asked me as well. So we kind of have a similar kind of situation because of 2 people slightly older, but with 3 kids being there and being pretty similar age, but not some being slightly more mature than the others. So it can become, they do play together, but it can become quite challenging as well at times because, for example, so Hamza, although like Hamza's like now going to be 5 and Zara's going to be 4, so just between them, for example, they play together, like they completely understand each other. But then Hamza will sit there at times and he will be trying to tell Zara that we're going to do this next, and he's instructing her, but I can clearly tell Zara's got no idea what's going on. He's listening to it, and from the moment they're starting to now play, she's not following him, and he's getting irritated. So I mean, it's one of those things. So I mean, and then obviously you don't want it to become physical, and you don't want them to start behaving like poorly. You want to address that, but in general, what I've found is initially we used to kind of intervene very quickly. So I don't know if this is the right way, but this is what I'm finding like that. We used to intervene very early, but now I kind of just leave them to it. As long as it doesn't get like completely out of hand, we let them kind of fight it out, shout it out, become friends again, and just kind of go through that process of working out for themselves. And obviously, if you kind of in between that somewhere realize that while you intervene, you can maybe guide them or help them just throw that in. So,
But to be fair, I think letting them resolve it themselves is sometimes more, well, a lot of the times more effective.
Yeah.
One, they learn that skill of being able to just sort your own problems out. 2, it's less stress and pressure on the parents as well, because the parents will never be able to fix that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
I will often just default to, right, if you both want to fight, you're going to cry, go into your room, have it out. Once you've done that and you sort your problems out, come back downstairs. And they'll go upstairs and have
It's interesting that one of the themes is our tolerances as parents. I mean, like you're saying that you have a short threshold for when it's sitting down and got to do some work.
Yeah.
And I suppose having the masculine, paternal teacher makes a big difference in getting the work done. Yeah. Sometimes kids, they do respond differently. I mean, even in primary schools like this, huge demand for male primary school teachers, even though it's like really dominated by female primary school teachers. And this is like a known thing about how behavior it changes. But it's another thing here as well. What my tolerance is for noise, how much tolerance do I have for the argument, and I suppose there's things about us as well and what we're doing and how we're doing that we need to think about as well. So, I'm just thinking about like working from home. I have my own study at home. The kids are welcome if you're here to study. If you're not, there's moments when I need no distraction, and I have to shut the door. I have to tell people you need to keep it down or whatever, and like negotiating those tolerances we have, communicating with the kids. Knowing how long let the leash go, if you know what I mean. How long we're willing to hear the noise, how long we're willing to allow the argument, or even if the fight is more than just an argument, there's some snatching or pushing or shoving. It's worth us figuring out how far we can go while it's safe and it's fine.
And also, I think another thing, like telling them. I think our kids are old enough to understand. They're not like mollycoddling and like speaking in baby terms. I'm sure they'll be able to understand. And but just like and it's like letting them know there are times that okay, we've got like it's going to. I don't want to shout at you, or just like letting them know. Just like this is how much I can take. Like now you just need to sort it out, and you figure like this, especially with like toys and stuff. Like because for me, like when there are little things everywhere, that just gets annoying. Like you play, make sure like not just like telling them like you need to do this, you need to do that, but just like setting like a time limit, and then I'll setting an alarm. And then like okay, then after you play, do everything, and then you tidy up. So after like around 6 o'clock when the timer goes off, both of you just start. You have to start tidying up. You all can choose amongst yourselves which one you all want to tidy up first. but then just telling them to do it, and then so that then they know that, okay, mommy and daddy are tired, or like, just letting them know as well. I think that probably I don't know if that will help, like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't know,
helps
it's,
quite a lot. When you
yeah.
actually tell them that, look,
this is,
I need to focus on this, you guys have
Yeah.
to be quiet, they can't take that in quite a bit. That.
Yeah.
But if that comes your default state, then it becomes an issue. Like, oh, I can never bother you. Then
yeah,
it's a
no,
problem.
not that, yeah, that's not
But there are
nice.
certain times like you play all the time, like, no, now it's not time for you to mess around in,
Yeah.
because I need to focus on this. And they usually find, they respond quite well to that when you tell them the reason why they
Yeah,
shouldn't be shouting or
explaining,
they shouldn't
yeah.
be playing, etc., etc. And they respond generally
Yeah,
quite well to that.
they're quite good, alhamdulillah.
You know, I find that Maya is always telling what to do, like she's much older. I'm always like, why don't you let Noor breathe? You're always telling her off everything she does. And then what you were saying today, so maybe the way I'm speaking to Maya, maybe she's speaking that same way to Noor, one of us. In my eyes, also, I'm not like that, but maybe think that. Maybe that's where she's getting it from. You know?
Yeah, no, so you don't think you're doing it. The other thing as well is that I think sometimes with kids, when you tell them, they're not doing more.
Push the buttons.
Funny what you say to us.
That's when the backhand comes into play.
My youngest Hafsa, she tells Abdullah off in the same tone that I tell him off.
Darling.
And she would shout at him in the same tone, or she would shout at Muhammad. Yesterday she was doing their birthday, they were playing their bike, my mother was gone, and they weren't sharing. And she got up on the sofa, she looked out the window, she said, Abdullah, share bike, share bike. That's so cute. I thought, what's up? They're looking at me.
No, they observe a lot, subhanAllah. You can see from the, like, the children, we think, oh, they're just 5, they're just 6, but they observe a lot, subhanAllah. Like, because it's just, we don't even have to, because that's what I've noticed with my boys. Like, I don't even have to say anything. They notice my facial expression. But that's why I just try very hard to, like, try not, because my face shows easily. But I'm happy, angry, sad, it just shows very easily. So try not to, like, have eye contact sometimes, so that, because, like, or just even a sigh the other day, subhanAllah, because I was watching some Palestine videos and I just like, and then I just did that, and subhanAllah, they were like, Mommy, are you thinking about the kids in Palestine? And they just immediately, it's just like they notice, they absorb so much. And that's another thing which I think I stress myself, and like I keep thinking, like, oh, I want them to have a happy childhood. Like, you think a lot, and then you're worried about, like, having any negative impacts on it, because they, like, Musra's dad said, like, you carry it on for years on end. You remember certain phrases, certain comments that were made, and you carry it on for years. It's like a burden. But and another thing is, subhanAllah, there's only so much what we can do. There's a limit. Like, we can do so much, and then we make dua, because children brought up in really good environments, they can go astray. Children brought up in, because certain things, like, and like, again, from my family, like, in terms of Quran and stuff, so like 3 of my sisters are hafidhats, Allah barik, all, like, but for me, like, whenever I take the Quran, I just like remember my sister getting beaten or something, and I'm like, oh, I just can't do it, and I just try to like not do it. But of course, those are just excuses that I'm telling myself. But so like things like when you're done with, like, and taking your own time, and what you mentioned about the hobbies, like, in a stress-free environment. So those things, like, then they tend to carry on doing it out of love, rather than having to do it just because it's like a tick box thing, or just trying to finish it just for the fear of it. But fear, I think, in my opinion, it'll go away. Or like when you're teenagers and stuff, the fear will go away. How much are you going to be scared of your parents? It is like, okay, I don't know, like, or beats or whatever. But when you carry on something with love, and then you want to do it something for the sake of, because you love that person. Like, for example, like today's presentation, I really do not want to do it and speak in front of everyone, but I want to do it because I knew how important it is for my husband. So just like, oh, what are you going to do about it? Like, I could, but then you obviously had a fear and love at the same time, and you just want to do it because you want to please the person you're with. So I think with kids as well, I think I really want to, emphasize, I don't know, with like, again, from personal thing, it's just like emphasizing on doing things out of love than doing things out of fear. And then showing the children as well, like, and because, especially because that's another thing I'm really conscious about. Inshallah, they're turning 7 in August, and like starting Salah, and like, inculcating the Salah habits, and next time, inshallah, hopefully trying to start them in a way that they will have the love for it, rather than like, if you don't pray this, you're going to get punished, or if something goes wrong, like, oh, it's because you didn't pray. Like, I don't want that kind of thing to happen with our kids, inshallah, and try to create the love for Allah and His Deen and for the parents as well.
He said he's coming.
He's the last one. Imam Uthman is the last one.
We have not had a break.
We've not had a break. We could just pause for now. Yeah, we can.
Sorry, actually, can I just say,
Oh.
sometimes I think it's really nice that you've identified strengths in your personal parenting to identify that this is better suited to the husband, this is to the wife.
Yeah.
But just to remind us that sometimes it is the other way around. Sometimes it's actually the husband that maybe gets impatient and loses his wits quicker, and the wife is actually the better person to do the learning. And just not to lose sight of that, I always remember I've been a teacher for many years, and in one of my schools, the teacher who I consider to have, have good children and the manners, we're talking 30 children, diverse backgrounds, send, behavior problems, you name it. And she was a timid Muslim, hijabi female, and people would assume that Mohsin being the male, having a louder voice, having the authority, but she was an outstanding practitioner. She did a much better job at managing behavior than I did. So it wasn't an issue of male or female. It's just that she had better command. She was strict. She was firm in her consequences. She was consistent. She had all those things that that person needs. So it's not as simple as and we fall in our marriages. Sometimes we fall into that trap that the wife might just send the children to dad in the hope that dad will be better. But the reality is sometimes it might just be the other way around. Dad might need to send the child to mum. So I just wanted to counteract that. We have to understand our own strengths and weaknesses as parents as well.
Yeah. I think that's quite important, that we find out what works for each parent. It's always going to be diverse rather than this. It can't be prescriptive. You have to figure out what's, like, if it's anything related to homework, you're like, oh, I want to tell you dad. If it's tidying up, I'm like, mom's coming, she's going to shout at you if you don't tidy up. So make sure you tidy up and get tidied up. They know that I don't care about being tidy or not. It's just like, they'll carry on.